Welcome to Trans Fabulous. My name is Sasja Sÿdek and I am the co-founder of Trans Sisters United and Trans Pride March Melbourne. Also that familiar voice echoing the air. And I would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respect to the elders past, present and emerging, always was and always will be Aboriginal land. And I would like to extend my respect to our trans elders past and present. And today I have an amazing guest, beloved friend as well, Sam Elkin. Sam Elkin is a writer, lawyer, and co editor of Nothing to Hide Voices of Trans and Gender Diverse Australia. Born in England and raised on Noongar land, Sam now lives on unceded Wurundjeri land. Sam's essays have been published in Griffith Review, Australian Book Review, Sydney Review of Books, and Kill Your Darlings. He hosts the Triple R radio show Queer View Mirror and is a TILDE Melbourne Trans and Gender Diverse Film Festival board member. And welcome to Trans Fabulous.
Hi, Sasha. Thanks for having me.
Yes, I've met you a few years ago and I think you have done so much for the community. So can we start off with happy birthday?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was my 40th yesterday. So
Yay.
I've joined the 40 Club as of yesterday. And
Do you have any preparation when a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going into 40s, I need to prepare this and prepare that. Do you have any preparations?
well, I really had a kind of personal goal to have published my first book by the time I turned 40. That was like a life goal.
Yeah.
And obviously the anthology Nothing to Hide came out last year, so that was great. And I've got my own memoir, Detachable Penis, coming out in May 2024. So I've kind of missed my deadline, but the fact that it's in production makes me feel pretty good about it.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
I believe you also did like a writing, what do you call it? A writing session in WA? Is that
yeah.
part of for the book that is upcoming?
Yeah, so I had a writers' retreat booked in at the Kathleen Susanna Pritchard Writers Centre, which is in the hills in Perth. And yeah, I was selected to do that, which was really great. So I spent 2 weeks solidly writing this memoir and speaking with my publisher, Terry Ann. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was great to go over there for that.
A lot of artists, especially like let's say Adele, they will have like this retreat place and
Yep.
stay there for like a month and just write songs. Is that how it works?
Yeah, pretty much. I've got another residency coming up in the Mornington Peninsula in a couple of weeks, which is really exciting. Again, I get to, spend 2 full weeks writing in a beautiful like little cottage. So yeah, I've been very lucky and been really well supported by the Australian literary community.
You were born in England.
Yes,
Okay.
I was. Yes.
Can we talk a little bit where about in England?
I was born in a town, it's sort of like a fringe town outside of London called Aylesbury.
Okay.
No, nothing special about it. Just a pretty standard working class town in England. And my parents migrated to Perth in Western Australia when I was 6 years old, so in 1990.
So I guess you don't get to have those British influence. It's mostly Australian influence.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess my parents are kind of, very culturally British, but I mean, this is a British colony, so it's pretty similar in some ways. But yeah, my brother and I definitely lost our British accents very quickly,
Yeah.
As you do when you're a little kid.
I've lived in London for a bit as well and also in Scotland. And, I can see the difference because I live here and
Yep.
they don't have snacks though.
True, yeah. Definitely, the little things are very different. Yeah, different food, much better food in Australia.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
amazing, like, multicultural food. The fact that we're so close to
Yes.
Asia basically means that we've got really great food. So that's good.
It is true. I agree because when I was in UK, breakfast was greasy as.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's not good. Yeah. No, I much prefer it here in Melbourne.
Yeah, that's where I was introduced to avocado here.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, right.
avocado and barramundi
Oh, okay.
in Australia. I still
Beautiful
remember
food.
because I grew up in Singapore and we don't avocado is not a thing.
Really?
It is now, but at
Okay.
the time it wasn't a thing. But it was a thing in Australia. Everywhere you go, there's avocado in the menu. Let's talk about more of the book that you were involved in, Nothing to Hide, Voices of Transgender and Gender Diverse of Australia. I was part in that book as well. Where did you get the inspiration from?
There were 4 editors involved in that. So there was Yves, Rees, Bobuq, Syed, and Alex Gallagher.
Mm.
So Bobuq is an Australian who's currently in Miami, writing an amazing novel, I think, over there.
Mm.
And Alex Gallagher's a poet. And yeah, Eve and I met because I was doing a podcast at the time called Transgender Warriors. And so
Yes.
I was interviewing people every week, and I really wanted to do that because I sort of started transitioning and I was really kind
Mm.
of eager to get wisdom and experience from other trans people. So, yeah, I met Eve through that process, and they're an academic at La Trobe in history, and we were both doing life writing.
Mm.
And yeah, we just sort of clicked, and we were just like, wouldn't it be great to work on an anthology of trans writing? Because
Mm.
I think we were both really conscious of the fact that we wanted to tell our life stories, but we didn't want to kind of represent the trans community because, you know, we're such a diverse group.
Correct.
And, you know, Eve and I are both relatively privileged people with, you know, maybe not typical experiences of the average trans person, if there
Mm-mm.
is such a thing. So
Yeah.
we were really passionate about the idea of trying to bring together an anthology of, yeah, we ended up with 32 transgender diverse people, including yourself,
Mm.
and getting to tell a whole bunch of different stories, which, you know, felt really powerful. And yeah, it's something
Yeah.
I'm still really, really proud of.
I'm so proud of it as well. When Bobuq Syed sent me a text, a message on at that time it was called Twitter, now
Oh,
it's
yep.
X.
Yep.
And then I had 2 weeks just to come up with a story
Yeah.
about myself. And I was like, I went blank. I mean, I've never done something like this before. Telling, write a story about myself. And I've told stories about myself, especially on the radio, but never in written. And with my vocabs and not so great. And yeah, so I was a bit lost at the time, but I found someone, a friend of mine. Her name is Katie Cameron, who was working for Switchboard at that time. She helped me with the writing because she used to be an editor
Hmm.
for Red magazine.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
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 so
yeah.
she helped me out and said, "Oh, this looks nice now." The paragraph that I sent you wasn't it looks amateur,
Hmm.
but she helped to polish it. So and I sent it to Babu. Babu's polish it more for me.
Yeah, well, that was something that was so important to all 4 of us editors. We really wanted to make sure that lesser heard voices
Mm-mm.
got an opportunity to be in the anthology. So we didn't just want to publish, you know, people that had studied creative writing at uni or
Yeah.
whatever. We wanted people's stories who didn't necessarily see themselves as writers or as journalists. So, yeah, yourself, Amalia Otalu,
Yeah.
Crystal Love Johnson, Tiff Tan,
Yeah.
all of those pieces, just as an example, were ones that we commissioned
Mm-mm.
actively because we really wanted to tell your stories.
Thank you
Yeah.
for the opportunity. And after reading everybody's story, it's so relatable though.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, their stories, what they went through, went through too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so relatable, and I'm pretty sure a lot of trans people who read that book can relate to individual stories in that.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's the great thing with an anthology. You know, you talk about all these different experiences,
Mm.
different ages, being from different cultural backgrounds. So, yeah, hopefully there'll be something in the anthology that every person can connect with, whether they're trans or cis or
Mm.
whatever, you
Yeah,
know.
true. Is there gonna be book number 2?
Well,
I heard rumors.
I've just finished the editing process for my first memoir, which is
Mm-hmm.
called Detachable Penis: A Queer Legal Saga. Which is a funny title. It's basically a memoir about my experiences working at the LGBTIQ legal service.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was a big sort of 2 years for me, and lots of interesting discussions that happened during that time, like the Religious Freedoms Bill,
Yeah.
stuff around trans inclusion in the Pride Centre.
Yeah.
Yeah, and working as a lawyer, trying to help people as part of the LGBTIQ community. So
Mm.
I loved that job. I ended up burning out of it because it was really hard work and it was a very uncertain funding environment. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I spent sort of the next 2 years kind of being like, what happened? Like, I don't know what happened. So I started writing and,
Mm-mm.
you know, eventually I thought, oh, maybe there's a book in this. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's coming out in May 2024 and hopefully people will be interested in it.
Of
I've tried
course.
to make it sort of funny
Yeah.
and poignant. So, yeah, hopefully people connect with
Yeah.
it.
Your advocacy, you also did a campaign, some sort of campaign for Roberta Perkin under Roberta Perkin name. Can we talk a little bit about that because it does inspire me when when you did that.
Yeah, so we got some funding through the City of Melbourne to run the Roberta Perkins Law Project.
Mm,
So, Roberta Perkins was an amazing trans woman and a sociologist who was based in Sydney.
yes.
She's now sadly passed away. But she, yeah, was just an amazing human being, was involved in really some of the first trans advocacy organisations in Australia. She was part of the first known trans protest in Manly, of all places, in New
Yes.
South Wales, on the beaches up there. And the Australian Queer Archives hold a lot of really important information about Roberta and her life. And I was really inspired by her. And I was really inspired by the Sylvia Riviera Law Project, which
Yeah.
is a New York City based community law project
Yeah.
where they're really interested in getting people that are affected by legal issues actively involved in the campaigns and stuff. So, you know, people, for example, who've been incarcerated or have received fines, actually getting them involved actively in trying to be part of decarceration and other legal solutions. So that's why I chose the title, because I was inspired by Roberta and I was inspired by what they were doing in New York. A trans person called Dean Spade set that up, a lawyer and an academic now. And we partnered with Transgender Victoria to do that project for 2 years, and basically just providing direct legal services to trans and gender diverse people.
Thank you for that because I heard who Roberta Perkin is, but I didn't do a lot of research until you did the Roberta Perkin law.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the law project.
law
Yeah.
project, and then I did research on her, and she was a big advocate for sex workers as
Yep.
well, but she wasn't a sex worker.
Mm.
Yeah, and we didn't know that. We thought she always was a sex worker, but she wasn't.
That surprised me as well, because she wrote a book, I think it's called Being a Prostitute, which was an interesting sociological study of, obviously we would use the terminology sex workers now,
Yeah.
but that was
Yeah.
a term that was more used then in the 80s. And she wrote The Drag Queen Scene as well, which is about sort of drag life in King's Cross, which was an absolutely seminal text, like
Yeah.
basically launched the trans sociology scene in Australia. So
Yeah.
some really important work that she did.
It is important because I got to meet her housemate, Cheryl.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and Cheryl is a cis woman. She also a founder of Prostitute Collective organization. In the past, I think it was probably in the 80s.
Yep.
Yeah, but now it's called Reds.
Yep.
Yeah. It's so nice to actually met Roberta Perkin housemate to tell the tale of Roberta Perkin, and she was the one who confirmed it that she wasn't a sex worker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you've kind of got a bit in common with her because she was also involved in community radio as well.
Yeah.
She had a show on 2SER in Sydney, which is sort of not that different to 3CR that you're involved in. So it's great to have that trans legacy of community radio as well.
Talking about radio, you also do radio. You have our own show at Triple R. Can we talk about it? I mean, how long have you been in doing at as a radio host?
Yeah, my partner Gemma and I and another friend of ours, Hamish, does a show called Queer View Mirror on Triple R. So it's on every Wednesday at 1 p.m. And we basically interview LGBTIQ people about whatever they're up to. So we interview a bunch of writers, artists, activists, all sorts of things. It's a kind of current affairs kind of talk show, and we've been doing that for about 2 years now, and it's a lot of work putting a show together every week, but I love it because I'm a bit of an introvert, and you get to meet people and have kind of a structured conversation with them, learn stuff about them, without having to do all the kind of awkward small talk that I'm not very good at. So I love doing radio. I'm really passionate about it, and hope to keep doing it. I just did a week of breakfast radio all this week, so I was filling in on breakfasters, and that was a real thrill being able to do 3 hours of radio every morning from 6
3
to 9.
hours?
Yeah, so
Oh,
it was
wow.
6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Wow.
So I was getting up at 5 to get into the studio.
That is commitment.
Yeah, so that was fun, but it was great to have a sleep in this morning.
I love doing radio, and 3CR as well have shaped me into. I'm an introvert person too.
Yep.
Before I joined 3CR, until I joined 3CR, I met all these activists. They had actually shaped me into an activist.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so I can't thank 3CR enough. I don't think I'm going anywhere because I think it's a family there.
Yeah, great.
I'm pretty sure it's the same for you for Triple R. It's like a
Yeah,
family.
Triple R is the nicest place that I've ever
Mm.
volunteered with. I love 3CR as well.
Yeah.
Love,
We
love
best
all
friends.
community radio. Yeah, PBS, all the community radio stations
Yeah.
I love and I'm always listening to. But yeah, they're great. They've been great to us, and yeah, never want to leave Triple R.
Still want to still stay with 3CR.
Yeah, awesome.
Because I just feel like 3CR has changed me into someone that come with a purpose now.
Yeah.
I have my calling now. You doing a lot of advocacy as well. So is there any focus at the moment that you're doing?
What's on my mind at the moment is we're definitely in a anti-trans backlash, which is going, global. Turf Island, as we call it,
Yeah.
Britain, where I was born. Things aren't going great there for the trans and gender
Correct.
diverse community, which is really concerning. And there's also, a backlash that's going on in the form of, new bills and laws to curtail trans and gender diverse rights in the United States. We haven't seen anything kind of really bad happen in terms of bad new laws here in Australia.
Yeah.
But that's something that I'm really personally invested in trying to protect.
Yeah.
I really want to protect the legal rights that we already have. I don't think the law is the be and end all, but I think things like the Equal Opportunity Act that we have is really important to kind of set a standard of behaviour and to kind of signal to the world what is and what isn't okay. But yeah, I mean, I must admit, I'm really worried about how things are going, whether it be the voice referendum or anti-trans stuff. Like, it feels like the world's a really scary and difficult place at the moment.
It is,
so,
isn't it?
yeah, trying to sort of stay connected with community and try and do meaningful things where I can feels really important right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's something that I'll probably keep doing for my whole life.
Thank you. And I understand where you're coming from. A lot of people would say, "Oh, we have got marriage equality now. Birth certificate has been approved, to change your birth certificate." But I think all these can be revoked, just like what happened in US, what happening in UK right now. So that's why we need to protect that, like you said.
Totally. I mean, my local upper house member, Moira Deeming, is a member of the Liberal Party, and you might remember her as being somebody who was involved in some of the anti-trans rallies that happened on the steps of Parliament back in March.
Yeah.
I mean, she just put into Parliament a failed bill to curtail the rights of trans and gender diverse people receiving treatment in healthcare settings, young people particularly. So, people are organising around this stuff. It's just so far at the moment. We haven't lost any of our rights, but, we need to keep fighting to maintain them.
The work never stop. Never stop.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though we say like, oh, we can chill now, but we can't.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's important to balance kind of rest and finding time to do creative stuff. I mean, that's why I'm so passionate about doing creative stuff. I'm involved in, I'm a board member of TILDE, which is a trans and gender diverse film festival. I don't make film, but I love film and I've always loved TILDE. And, as I get older, sort of thinking about stuff that I can do for the trans community that kind of fills my cup to some extent, as opposed to stuff that's just always really full on and upsetting.
Yeah.
I love being involved in TILDE, and I'm really looking forward to our new CEO, Ro, like bringing out our first film festival, which is meant to be happening in May 2024. So, yeah, I really try and be involved in the cultural life of the trans community and, letting other people kind of take the main stage, which is usually what I prefer to do.
You know what? You never know. Your upcoming book might be a movie someday.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, film is a really hard industry. You just need so much money and so much goodwill from so many people to kind of make something happen. So I'm not holding my breath, but yeah, would be more than happy to talk to any filmmakers about making that happen.
Any filmmakers watching this, get in touch with Sam. It does. I mean, I've worked in the film industry here for a little bit, and oh my God, there's not much money here for the industry, and they're always looking for money for to make a movie. So unfortunately, the ones that are doing very well are invested by Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah. So not holding my breath. That's why creative writing I like,
Yeah.
because basically you need like a laptop and
Mm-hmm.
can go to a library or whatever, sit there. It's finding the time that is the hard part
Yeah.
to actually sit down and write it. But at least you don't need to get like an investment banker to kind of bankroll you like $10 million or something like that. It's just you and the computer.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so you're a writer now, and are you still doing your as a lawyer?
I'm not working as a lawyer at the moment. I work for state government.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working in mental health reform stuff.
Okay.
So still involved in, the community sector more broadly.
Yeah.
But I've been having a break from the law. I have been starting to think about it again, being like, oh, I miss being a duty lawyer. So never say never. But it's really hard work, and I'm
definitely
enjoying the balance that you
But
get
don't you think being a lawyer good money too?
Not the kind of law that I
Okay.
did, because I either worked at legal aid or in community legal
Right,
centres,
okay.
and definitely the poorer end of the market.
Right.
But I really enjoy doing human rights stuff. So
Yeah, okay.
if I go back to the law, I'll probably keep doing that.
Okay. Yeah. Because from what I see, some of my friends who are lawyers, good money.
Yeah, totally.
They go by the hour.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's so many different legal professions. There's like banking, construction
Correct.
law, all different kinds of things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let's talk about spark joy. I mean, I'm pretty sure what sparks joy for you would be your family.
Yeah, I mean, my family have been on my mind a lot recently, because it was actually my niece's graduation, year 12 graduation from Footscray High last night.
Right.
My partner Gemma and I have been looking after Ella since she was 15. So
Oh.
she moved over here, basically in the middle of the pandemic, and has, been with us since she just turned 15, and she's just turned 18 and has just graduated high school.
Yeah.
And that was, an immensely enjoyable experience last night. She won like 3 awards, for coming like top of different subjects.
Oh.
So she's absolutely smashed year 12. We would have been proud of Ella no matter what she did, but kind of focusing on the next generation and thinking about how we can support Ella, and and being amongst Ella's sort of peer groups a little bit and seeing what young people are up to. It's a real treat.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of people said, what do young people know? But actually, we can learn something from them. Like my nieces and nephews, sometimes if we have family gathering, I learn something new, always something new from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. I love staying in touch with what's going on with youth culture. Like,
Yes.
even though I don't want to spend all my time on it, it's, it's good to stay connected to what the issues are for them. I mean, thinking about Ella trying to move out of home, and like how difficult it is for renters and stuff. Like, you
Yes.
stay in touch with what issues are really affecting people.
Yeah.
And you don't just end up in a kind of like middle-aged bubble. So that's good.
I agree. I love listening to also the elders as well. They have some amazing stories to tell.
For sure.
Yeah. And also I like to listen to the young ones too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love intergenerational stuff, and that's what I love about the trans and gender diverse community, actually. Like, if you go to a transgender Victoria event or go to something at the archives, whatever, you're meeting people,
Yes.
from their early 20s to their
Correct.
70s, 80s, and I
Diversity,
love that.
yeah. And any upcoming projects? I mean, you're always doing something. I pretty much did a spoken word performance. It was because of you.
Yes.
I took that challenge. I've never done anything like that before, and I'm glad I did it. Thank you very much for getting me to do it.
Pleasure. Thank you for being
Yeah.
a part of it. I haven't got any events coming up. I guess the next thing will be releasing my book in May. So, I hope that I'll get the opportunity to be booked into like a festival of some kind, like one of the writers' festivals, whether it's Melbourne or Bendigo.
Oh my God, that
'cause,
would be
we
amazing.
went to
Yes,
Bendigo
we
this
did the
year
Bendigo
together, didn't
Writers
we?
Festival.
Yeah.
That was amazing, and we even got mentioned on an article.
Yeah, that's right.
Herald Sun? Was it Herald Sun? Yeah.
I can't remember, but hopefully, I'd love to do something like that again, and taking the book out to libraries. Week of visibility, week of awareness.
Awareness, yeah.
It's
Trans
it's a big
Awareness
one.
Week, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it will lead to Trans Day of Remembrance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which it's a really important event, and one that I sort of try and be more of an observer in than play an active role in, because it's a really sad year to focus on what we've lost, and it's a hard
Yes.
year. So
It
yeah,
is a hard year. I mean, it just keep piling, isn't it?
yep,
But you know what? We as trans people, we are strong, we
yep,
are resilient, and yeah, we will make it happen no matter what. We are survivors.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's true, and I'm always inspired by so many people I've met, like yourself and other trans
Yeah.
people, that keep on doing things in the face of some quite full on opposition at sometimes. So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. Well, thank you so much, Sam, for coming to Trans Fabulous because I think you're fabulous.
pleasure. Well, thanks for saying
and
that. Yeah,
good luck for your upcoming book because I'm looking forward to the launch
yeah,
and looking forward to read that book
yeah.
because
Great.
the title is so catchy. I love it.
Hopefully, it'll be intriguing. Thanks,
Yeah,
Sasha.
thank you. And you've been watching Trans Fabulous with Sasja Sÿdek and Sam Elkin. And we'll see you again on the next episode.